In this episode of Anna Gare's Cab Fair, we're turning Japanese. I meet Brisbane cab driver Stephen.
I'm more interested in eating than cooking.
And whip up one of the easiest and most delicious delicacies in Japanese cuisine. I roll up some sushi you'll have your heart set on, and later...
Hi all, this is Anna.
I join Stephen at his home to enjoy a family favourite. I'm Anna Gare. As a cook, I spend a lot of time getting in and out of cabs. I love meeting cab drivers from all around the world, collecting their recipes and then cooking it up for the whole family to enjoy. I'd love you to try one. Join me for Anna Gare's Cab Fair.
Good morning, ma'am.
Thank you. How are you going? I'm going to Sherwood Village.
You Anna, like off TV? I thought I recognised you.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you recognised me. Someone asked me the other day if I was Anna's mum. Can you believe it?
Oh, no. Oh.
Sorry, what's your name?
Stephen.
Have you always lived in Brisbane?
I grew up in Brisbane.
Yeah.
I was away from the city for some time. I was served in the Navy. Lived up the Sunshine Coast for a while.
So how long have you been driving 1-3 cabs for?
We actually got involved in taxis in 1982. My wife's a joint partner in our taxi.
Because I love to get recipes from cab drivers.
Right.
Are you a keen cook?
I'm more interested in eating than cooking.
What
So
about...
the cooking becomes the vehicle to the eating.
So what kind of food do you crave and what kind of food do you cook?
Look, we're very eclectic, but I guess the things that really opened our eyes to this was our experiences with Japanese food.
So how did you learn to cook Japanese? Did you do it out of books or did...
Our daughters were at a school that had exchange programs going with a school in Japan, and we got involved in hosting exchange students and later on homestay students. We had one girl called Yuma, and interestingly, her mother runs a food shop in Osaka. She took it to heart. She was going to make okonomiyaki. Okonomiyaki, its literal translation is as you like it. So it's this, people say, well, what is it? And it's sort of like a pancake and it's sort of like an omelette. You make up a batter, which is basically flour and water with a couple of eggs in it.
Well, Steve and I both have one thing in common. We both love Japanese food and we both love making and eating okonomiyaki. And they really vary. Some are quite heavy on the flour and they make a bit of a batter, and I find those ones a little bit heavy. But I like mine light and fluffy. I add 6 eggs, so I'm going to give it that umami flavour with 2 tablespoons of fish sauce, a little bit of pepper and a dash of salt. Right, we just whisk that all together. Right, that's looking great. Now onto the veggies. Now Stephen uses cabbage in his, which I think is a fantastic crunchy vegetable to put in your okonomiyaki. We just need to shave that nice and thin. And I'm also adding carrot to mine. So I simply just peel the carrots first. Now you could use sweet potato, that's another fantastic addition. We're just going to peel the carrot into the mixture. So we have these lovely ribbons of carrot, which is going to give it lovely crunch. Such a simple recipe, but it's so delicious. 2 to 3 spring onions into the mix, and then we just mix that together with our hands to combine. Now I add flour, so 1 cup will be plenty. Sieve that in. Now we just combine that together with our hands, so we're lightly coating the vegetables with the flour. And now we just simply add our egg mix and stir to combine. That's looking fabulous. So it's that simple. It's time to cook. So I'm dressing up this dish with some prawns. Add a little oil to the pan. I think prawns is a really nice touch. Makes it more suitable for dinner or lunch. And I'm going to fry these off over a high heat just for a few minutes, just to almost cook them through. So I just seal them off on both sides and cook them about 3/4. And when they cook with the pancake, they'll be perfect. And these are lovely, juicy, creamy tiger prawns. I'm just going to turn them over now. That's perfect. Okay, and the prawns are ready. So we'll just put them aside in a bowl for a moment. Now, so we've got all those lovely flavours on the pan. I'm just going to add a little bit more oil, about 2 tablespoons, they should be fine. And then I'm going to divide my mixture into half, roughly, because I'm making 2. And then we'll pop that into the pan, like so. Oops. Now, all we do is we just flatten this out like a lovely big pancake. Gorgeous. I just want to add a little bit of this egg because I've left quite a bit behind there. And now I'm going to place 8 of my little prawns on top of the pancake. That's looking good. She's moving, which is exactly the way we want her. So we're just going to slide that onto the plate like so. Yes. Which gives us a nice little chance just to clean off the base before we turn her over. Now I'm just going to add a tad more oil to the pan. And then we're going to put the pan over the plate, back into the pan. And here we go, folks, the great reveal. Ta-da! And there we go. And now to pretty it up, we're going to put on some Kewpie mayonnaise, and this is how they traditionally do it. And then I've got some tonkatsu sauce, which is like a Japanese barbecue sauce. Now we're going to start prettying it up. I'm just going to put on some pickled ginger and then some spring onions. Now, I made these by slicing them really nice and thin, and then I popped them into some cold water. And now for the Bonito. And I love this stuff. It dances and sings and carries on when you put it on the plate. So gorgeous. And then for finishing touches, furikake, just some toasted sesame seeds with a little bit of nori. And that's it, okonomiyaki with prawns. What do you love about being a cab driver?
Look, it's got to be that you can, the personal contact.
And since you've been driving cabs, what do you think of the human race, for better or for worse?
I actually am one of those people that fundamentally believe that people are good.
Yeah.
I really like to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. The things we really like about Japanese dishes is table cooking.
Oh, yeah, cooking it right at the table,
right
there.
at the table.
Nice.
And that's why dishes like Shabu Shabu and Okonomiyaki are very appealing to us, because it brings in an extra layer of
community eating. Shabu Shabu, it's a bit like a Chinese hot pot, isn't it? But it's Japanese.
But it's a bit do-it-yourself as well. So
how do you make it? Can you give me your recipe?
No, this is all a bit of a slant. I'm not a recipe slave as such.
No, but you know what you like to cook and eat.
So I'll start off with a bit of coarsely chopped onion and maybe capsicum and some garlic, and I'll lightly fry that up.
Do most of your dishes start with onion and garlic?
Pretty much, yeah.
Drives the family wild.
It's pretty safe, yeah.
I love Japanese food. It's so delicious, it's so fresh and clean, and leaves you feeling fantastic after you've eaten it. So I've got a sheet of kombu here. So this is dried kelp, and this is going to help to give that umami flavour into our basic stock. We're going to pop that into a pot to have a total of 2 litres of water. Now, I'm also going to add just a nice little slither of ginger in there, and that will impart a lovely flavour as well. So we're bringing it to the boil and simmering it for 20 minutes. Okay, so our dashi stock is underway, so now all we need to do is prepare the vegetables. So I've got some lovely shiitake mushrooms here. I'm just going to slice them finely. Just remove that little bit there, and away we go. Now, sometimes I put dried shiitake mushrooms in that stock, and that's the trick with this dish. Everyone actually ends up making their own. Good one, hey? I've got some little enoki mushrooms here, and what you really need to do with these is I just remove their base. Discard that. And then we just pull these little guys apart. They look really pretty when they're floating in the stock too. And I've got a whole heap of Asian greens here. I'm using pak choi, bok choy, choy sum, whatever you like. And I basically just cut them in half. Almost feel like I'm cheating when I do this dish because actually everyone serves themselves, but it's fun. It makes it a much more social dinner. Okay, so we arrange that nicely on the platter. And then, of course, Japanese food is also about texture, and so I'm using some silken tofu here. Basically, I'm just going to chop that on the plate into little pieces. It's gorgeous, ready to go. And then, of course, you can choose any style of meat that you like, but I'm using a nice beef here, and this is actually Wagyu. And I got this from the Asian supermarket. It's pre-sliced and it's just perfect, but you could use like an eye fillet or a sirloin steak, whack it in the freezer and slice it when it's almost frozen, and that way you get lovely, lovely thin slices. So the kombu has done its magic. It's looking lovely and unleashed all that beautiful flavour into the stock. Now to make our stock, we really need to add these Bonito flakes. So they go in to complete our dashi stock. They look like wood chips, much tastier. Okay, so we're just going to stir that in, just gently, and basically we're going to simmer that for about 5 minutes. So the Bonito flakes are sinking, so we're ready to strain. Smelling amazing. And I've got the muslin cloth there to gather all the little bits. All right, just get the rest out with some tongs. Such beautiful stuff, that seaweed. Right, we'll give that an extra little squeeze to get all that goodness out. Just a gentle squeeze. We don't want to muddy it up. It's looking gorgeous and clear. And then back into the pot. She goes. Look at that beautiful, clear, nourishing Japanese stock. And we're ready to go. And this smells so fantastic. I'm ready to eat. So, well, what do we normally do? Normally there's a huge gathering, but I'm just going to enjoy this by myself. I'm going to put in, some mushrooms. I might just pop in a few of these little enoki ones as well. Some udon noodles. I like to have a little bit of substance in mine. And now some tofu. It's about texture as much as it is about taste. So I'll pop a few of them in. And so now it's time to do the Shabu Shabu, which is getting your lovely thinly sliced meat, dragging it through the hot stock. This is meant to go into the bowl, but I can't wait. I'm just going to quickly... That is insane. I need to scoop myself up a big bowl of that quickly. So with the exchange students, do you get them all the time?
Yeah. We have, because they've become an integral part of our family. Yeah. So by having the homestays with us, it made us feel more like a real family. Yep.
You got recipes.
No, there's a discipline as well where you have to actually sit down to meal.
Your kitchen sounds like so much fun. I'd love to come over and cook for you one day. I cook up a bit of Japanese, and I'd love to cook your dish for you.
Everyone's welcome in our kitchen, Anna. In fact, we encourage other people to cook food in our kitchen.
Well, get this, I'm going to cook your dish for you. You'll see me soon.
That sounds like a wonderful thing.
See ya.
Bye.
Now, everyone should have a good party trick, and mine usually revolves around food. And today, I'm going to show you how to make sushi hearts. Wins hearts every time, and I think Stephen is going to love this recipe. Now, the most important thing to do is to wash the rice at least 3 times until all the starch has come off. The water needs to be running clear. So 1 cup of rice to 1 1/4 cups of water, pop it on the stove, bring it to the boil. Once it's boiling, pop the lid on and let it simmer for 10 minutes. Turn it off and rest it for another 10. And this is what you get. So now we're going to flavour up the rice. 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar and 3 teaspoons of mirin. Now, I just stir that, just slightly dissolve that sugar a little bit, and then this is going into the warm rice. So I just pour that in, fluff it up with a fork, and then all I do is pour it out on a tray to cool it down. And of course, you could use a fan to fan this, or a little bit of seaweed if you wanted to show off in front of your guests. So for this recipe, we need 4 sheets of nori paper, but what I'm going to do is trim 2 up. So I'm going to take about 2 centimetres off the length there, like so. And then we cut them in half again. I think that looks pretty even. Start by making little teardrops to form the love hearts, each side of the heart. So if you can imagine it like that. So we put rough side up, shiny side down, and then we place some rice evenly out on each sheet. And of course, you have to use your hands to do this, and it's quite handy to have just like a little bowl of water there so you can keep your hands nice and clean. I'm not normally a fussy person, but this is the time to be fussy. So I flatten my fingers like this, slightly damp, and just pat along the rice like so to get a nice, even piece. So we're making 2 rolls of love hearts, and we'll need 2 tear shapes on each side of each heart. So we need 4 altogether. Okay, next we need to make those teardrops. Right, so what we need to do is cover the bamboo mat with some Glad wrap. And the reason why we do that is because we roll them inside out and the rice is super sticky. So we just do this like so, fold it over. Perfect. So then we turn one of our little sheets upside down and then we fill it up. So I like to start with a little bit of Kewpie Japanese mayo. So I do a little run along there, nice little thin line. A little bit of the fiery wasabi. And then we start laying out our beautiful ingredients. I'm using some salmon, some carrots, some red peppers, cucumber, avocado, and of course pickled ginger. So we'll lay the salmon down next. And then a nice big splash of red in there with the red capsicum. And then some avocado, and once again, I'm just going to put a slither really. And then some cucumber, like so. And then basically all we do is pinch it together to form that teardrop. So we lift up one side and roll it over and pinch it, like so. Run your little fingers along the bottom there. And there we have, believe it or not, half a heart. That's what it looks like. Now we have to do the other side of the heart. Okay, so we pinch them together like so. So now we can do away with the plastic and we're ready to roll one complete love heart. So once again, shiny side down, rough side up. So now we roll one side of the heart, pinching it in again, but this time with the seaweed around it. And then we place the other side of the heart onto the nori paper and we do the same, pinching it in again. Then we almost have a heart, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, but we just need to shape it. So I then turn that upside down, pick it up and pinch it along the bottom to create that tip of the heart. So that's it, basically. Ladies and gentlemen, we have one lovely roll of nori heart. And we just slice that when we're ready to go. Surprise!
Oh, I never thought you were serious about that.
I thought you didn't believe me. I've been busy cooking up all this beautiful food. I've got one of your dishes.
Hi, guys. This is Anna.
Hello, everyone.
Anna's a celebrity TV chef and she's cooking lunch for us.
I've cooked some beautiful food. I've done one of Stephen's dishes, so I'm a little bit nervous. So I think we should eat outside. We're in Brizzy. Which way?
Yeah, that's where we normally eat.
Oh,
yeah.
great. OK, let us eat. Stephen's a very, very clever man. This is one of his best dishes, and I know why, because everyone has to basically cook it themselves. So I'll take the lids off. So dig in, don't wait, as you would normally, I'm sure. And I've got these beautiful sushi hearts here, which were no trouble at all. I'd love you to try one. There's some soy there.
Shabu Shabu is like a onomatopoeia for the sound that the meat makes in the water, or like the sound that it makes when you're doing it. So that's where the name of the dish actually comes from. It's the act of swishing the meat around inside.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see what you think of my okonomiyaki.
Well, I really try not to be critical of people's food.
So I'm just going to pop a few little bits of meat in for myself. I've got an eye on mine. I like it just like that. Yeah. Look at that.
What's a bit unusual here is that everything's so far away from me. Usually...
You set it up to suit you.
Yes.
Bye. Howdy.